The free market has spoken before, and it will speak again, and it is speaking loudly, my friends. The Adpocalypse on YouTube. Why did YouTube go to ban a ton of speech, ban a bunch of channels, and censor many, many political opinions? Because the advertisers said so. It's the easiest path to victory for the far left. It's one of the reasons why I've always been in favor of some regulation, why I've always been fairly liberal and think the government needs to intervene to protect the public. Because right now we are seeing the extremist left exploit companies, and the companies are bending the knee. In a fear of a boycott and a backlash, companies like North Face and Patagonia are now boycotting Facebook ads. Now, these don't make up every single penny that Facebook earns. Likely won't have a big impact. There is a PR backlash brewing as more and more companies say they will boycott Facebook unless Facebook bans and censors more speech. This puts Facebook in a very difficult position. If they keep seeing more and more companies pile on, eventually they lose their money, they cave. If they start banning more and more speech, they lose users, and then the ads become worth less. So you know what? Maybe in the end it results in the complete and total demise of Facebook. But I'll tell you what, free speech is not long for this world. In many ways, it's already dead. There are certain things I can't say to you right now, certain names I can't say. So I'd argue that it is dead. We don't have free speech. We have a narrow guideline. They know, they've given us guidelines. Here's the narrow path where you're allowed to speak. That's not free speech. I'm sorry. If this was free speech, I could say some pretty crazy things. And I can't. So now that these companies are making these moves, it's only a matter of time, my friends. I got a bunch of stories. Let's read this. A couple days ago, they announced outdoor brands, the North Face and Patagonia, and REI have pulled their advertising from Facebook platforms. The Stop Hate for Profit campaign is calling on brands to join the boycott during the month of July. The North Face said it was halting ads until stricter policies are put in place to stop racist, violent, or hateful content and misinformation from circulating on the platform. Facebook said it was committed to advancing equity and racial justice. Look, man, I'm sorry, dude. The conservatives lost. Okay, can we just get on with it? Can we just drop everything? Everyone get on your knees and thank your overlords for allowing you to say the words you can say. Facebook is already pushing the far left dogma, racial equity. That's not equality. That's not opportunity. That's straight up racial profiling and discrimination. The racists are winning. And Facebook has caved. And it doesn't matter if they do this or not. It's only going to get worse. So whatever, man. It's been happening. It'll keep happening. It's not going to stop. We had Project Veritas come out with a video proving they're overtly biased. Okay, there it is. It's over, man. Voting for Trump did nothing. What do you want to do? I don't know. Maybe, I said this in my rant. That's people are spreading around about how people need to stick up for themselves and speak up. Maybe the reality is just there's just not enough of you. There's not enough people who actually believe in freedom and the right to speech. Well, there you go. So what do you expect? Most people don't care if they get censored, and the activists are controlling the corporation. So the time for taking action, I think, was a long time ago. You're not going to get into these companies. They're going to fire you for what you believe. That's it. They control the networks. They control YouTube. They allow people like me, because I'm actually a liberal 10 years ago. So this is the new conservative right now, talking about systemic racism and institutional racism being real things. That's conservative, apparently. But I'm not far left enough. Well, there you go. Patagonia is proud to join the Stop Hate for Profit campaign. We will pull all ads on Facebook and Instagram effective immediately through at least the end of July, pending meaningful action and from the social media giant. What do they want them to do? What is Facebook going to do? Joseph Evans, head of tech at Enders Analysis, said Facebook was trying to both avoid further regulation from the U.S. government and maintain ad revenue. Facebook can weather a boycott by large companies better than any other media organization out there, as so much of its revenue comes from smaller advertisers who are unlikely to band together to make political demands. However, right now, lots of those small advertisers are under pressure due to COVID-19. What I expect to see is Facebook trying to walk a tightrope, interpreting its existing guidelines slightly more strictly, erring more on the side of taking down hate speech, but without much in the way of explicit policy changes that could provoke punitive regulations or get Mark Zuckerberg dragged before another Senate committee. Republicans have no teeth and will do nothing. They haven't before, they won't now, and they're on the verge of losing everything. The polls say Trump is on the way out. Whether you believe it or not, you got to fight, okay? Trump might win. You might think so. I'm not so sure. And then what happens? When the Democrats get in, they'll regulate Facebook. Facebook loses no matter what they do. Bend the knee, Facebook. And then what happens is Facebook gets regulated heavily. They then can wash their hands and say, we can't do anything about it. The regulators have come in. So that's the real fight. Who gets to throw the first regulation stone? Republicans could have done it. They didn't do it. And now, this is what you get. Facebook and Twitter are overtly biased. So is YouTube. And they're going to purge conservative voices and opinions. And I'll tell you what, in 2 or 3 years, everyone's going to be singing the praises of diversity and equity. They're going to be bending over backwards, talking about how it's a good thing that there's racial discrimination in this country, like they're already doing in Oregon and California. And that's it. You won't hear any alternative opinions on any platform. Twitter will have banned everybody. You might say, but Tim, there's certainly alternative platforms that have very small user bases, perhaps. But they'll be smaller niche sites. I'm sorry, man. We are seeing the progressives defeat the Democratic establishment. This is the trend. Maybe things will change and maybe this is wrong. But I'll tell you what. If you are concerned that these things are happening and you are losing, then you need to stand up and actually go and do something. I don't know who you're going to vote for. This is funny because it's not a partisan opinion. Do I think there's any Republicans you could vote for? No, I really don't. Not a single Republican will do anything about this. You can be mad at me all you want. Say whatever you want. But come on. Lindsey Graham. What does that guy do? The Republicans have literally done and said nothing. Tom Cotton's come out and said a few things. That's cool. Rand Paul has said some things. I can respect that. Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, Matt Gaetz, they've talked about this. But where are we at? Has anything really been done? Have the Republicans done anything to defend your right to expression on the internet? No. And they're not going to. So I'm not telling, I can't tell you. I guess you can go vote. I guess you can demand they stand up. Sure. I don't think this, it's, you know what, man? This is the funny thing about me. People say like Tim Pool's on the fence and all that. You want to know why? Because it doesn't matter who you vote for. You get a boot in the face either way. That's why I didn't vote in 2016. You think I don't care about what has Trump done? Okay. The economy was great. I can respect that. But what has Trump done in terms of actually passing things that have protected free speech? I know he's the president. It's the executive branch. He can't really do that much. He did the executive order. Fine, I guess. The point I'm trying to make is not so much about what Trump can do. It's that people thought voting for Trump was going to solve this. No, it wasn't. It made everything worse because these people hate Trump and they started screeching at the top of their lungs, heads on fire, because Trump got elected. That caused, now Ben & Jerry's joins the Facebook ad boycott. Oh, whatever, Ben & Jerry's stupid ice cream. Look, man, I can't tell you what the solution is. But free speech is on the way out. Racial discrimination is on the rise. You've got high-profile celebrities promoting anti-Semitism in Farrakhan. It's all happening. It is. Now we're seeing massive gun sales. That freaks me out. That's the last thing I or anyone should be asking for. We want law and order. We want the police to actually defend, our public property and enforce the law. But listen, the problem is the people who need to stand up for their rights won't do it. They don't care. They're going to sit in their houses and say, I don't care about none of that political stuff. I think it's funny when I have friends who are hitting me up now asking me questions about these weird policies that are screwing with them. And I'm like, shouldn't it have been like, I don't know, maybe you should have paid attention. Maybe you should have talked politics before these laws started getting enacted that restrict your rights. Reminds me of that video from it's a gun store. And this guy is saying that a bunch of people keep coming in asking if they can get guns. And he's like, it's a wait period. So you gotta go get your ID. You gotta get fingerprinted. You gotta do all these things. And they're flabbergasted. And then when they finally get to buy them, he goes, okay, come back in a few days. I'll let you know. And they're like, but I want it now. Can I pay extra? He's like, no, you can't. Maybe the next time someone says they want to take your rights away, you stand up for yourself. So this is where we are. Facebook is on the verge of outright collapsing under the weight of a vocal minority. But it works. It's worked before. It'll work again. The adpocalypse causes these companies to bend over backwards. Trump winning doesn't do anything. These major corporations are identitarian leftists. Patagonia. This is probably, look, I talked about this in the previous segment. Who benefits? Well, it's certainly not minorities. You might think it is. It's not. It's not. Putting out a mask law that says non-whites don't have to wear masks. Well, that's going to increase the likelihood non-whites get sick, benefiting white people. Or the repealing civil rights in California. We are a white majority country. If you want to bring back racial discrimination, then don't be surprised when you get overt racial discrimination from the majority of this country. These people have lost their minds. Or, they never had them in the first place. But I have to wonder who's Who benefits from an authoritarian system? Mark Zuckerberg. He's white. Jack Dorsey. He's white too. Why it seems to be all of these progressive, wealthy white people who are enacting policies that somehow just manage to keep benefiting them. Repealing the law in California and the face mask thing. That should be overt to everybody. Completely obvious. But apparently it's not. They think that the people who benefit will be the marginalized voices. I really don't think so. I think there's a long and complicated future based on many predictions. But when you look at people like, Chelsea Handler promoting Farrakhan, I think we know who's getting the benefit from all of this. And they try to act like it's all in favor of these oppressed peoples, but it's really not. At least I don't think so. Now, will Facebook bend the knee? That's the big question. They already censor conservatives overtly, and Project Veritas exposed that. So does it even really matter if there's a boycott? You're just giving Facebook an excuse to do exactly what they wanted to do already. I'll leave it there. I got one more segment coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.